share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so this is an interesting topic, and I know you guys read the description of the channel. That's what we do here, is talk about interesting topics. You know what I'm saying? So let me give a shout out to everybody that's in the building early. We got a lot of people in here already, so shouts out, smash that like button. If you guys know anybody who is interested in this, get this stream to them. Share it to your social media, send it to them in a text, whatever you got to do. Get them up in here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, Adrian Taylor. Shout out to Katsy. Shout out to John Is that Gulleroy? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Lois Hub, shout outs. My man, Steve Holla. Mac, what up with it, bro? My man, AB Promotion is in the. My man, Al McGowan is in here. Mike Mellis John is in the building. RG Titan is up in here. And B1 to everybody and to the answer as well. All right. So we got a lot of content to talk about when it comes to this particular situation here. This dude, Brown the God, said, don't forget about me in the clouds. Yes, because I have every way of knowing that you're in the clouds. You know what I'm saying? You know, these clouds are radioactive nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So we got an article here from WKBN 27, and what it says is that we basically nuked a town. This is in East Palestine, Ohio. We basically nuked the town. 3 more chemicals were discovered in Ohio train derailment. So let's listen to what they're talking about here.
Days since Norfolk Southern train Stan Boney. It's now been 10 days since Norfolk Southern train derailed in East Palestine. And tonight we know more about the chemicals that were on the train.
First News digital reporter Jen Rodriguez has also in the rail cars that were derailed, breached, or on fire. Caggiano says ethylhexylacrylate is especially worrisome. He says it's a carcinogen, and contact with it can cause burning and irritation in this.
Now, here's a question, right? They just said it's a carcinogen and it can cause burning and irritation. Let me ask you guys a question. What is the definition of the word carcinogen? What does that mean? And not only can it cause burning and irritation, carcinogens are known for doing something else. What else do they do?
Skin and eyes. Breathing it in can irritate the nose, throat, and cause coughing and shortness of breath. Isobutylene is also known to cause dizziness and drowsiness when inhaled.
I was kind of surprised that when they quickly told the people they can go back home.
What are those pills called? Yeah, and shout out to everybody that answered. Cancer causing. Yes, absolutely. Cancer causing. So not only can these things cause the symptoms that they were talking about, they can cause different kinds of cancers too. I wouldn't be surprised if 10 to 15 years down the line, a lot of people from East Palestine start developing rare and strange conditions as a result of this. I wouldn't be surprised, because that's what happens all the time in situations like this. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens all the time in situations like this. You know what I'm saying? So what was I was going to ask you guys a question, and I forgot what that question was. Maybe I'll remember it.
But then said if they feel like they want their homes tested, they can have them tested. I would have far rather they did all the testing.
Caggiano says it's possible some of these chemicals could still be present in homes and on objects until you...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what I was going to ask is, in the event of a nuclear war, or in the event of a nuclear threat, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the United States has been recently stockpiling potassium iodine, right? Are you guys aware that the United States government has been stockpiling potassium iodine? They've been stockpiling it for quite some time now. Here's my question. Why haven't they dispersed any of that potassium iodine to these people here? Is that a fair question? If that's a fair question, give me a thumbs up. If it's not a fair question, give me a thumbs down. We all know that when it comes to radiation and when it comes to unstable chemicals, when it comes to nuclear things, that the radiation lasts for a long time and that the radiation spreads. We also know that it can be fatal and it can cause debilitating illness, disease, and symptoms. Here's my question for you all. Why would the authorities tell these people that it's okay for them to go back home? That's my question. Why would they do that? Why would they say that? What's you guys' thoughts on that? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and make sure that you hit that bell. And also, please share the video out.
Clean them thoroughly.
Oh, there's a lot of what ifs, and we're going to be looking at this thing 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line and wondering, gee, cancer clusters could pop up, well water could go bad.
See, he's saying the same thing that I said. And shout out to Italia. What up with it, Italia? He's saying the same thing that I just said. You know what I'm saying?
Caggiano recommends anyone who's in the East Palestine area get a health checkup. He says get a record now of where your health stands so that moving forward, you'll have documentation of any possibly related effects to the train derailment. In East Palestine, Jennifer Rodriguez, WKBN 27 First News.
I agree. All right. So now here it says First News was recently informed of 3 more chemicals that were on the Norfolk Southern train that derailed in East Palestine just over a week ago. And we are being told that these chemicals are dangerous. Okay. These chemicals are dangerous. We basically nuked a town with chemicals so we could get a railroad open. Sil Sigano, a hazardous materials specialist. Okay. So now I didn't know that a reporter was arrested. Did you guys know that a reporter who was reporting on this particular topic was arrested? I wasn't aware of that. But apparently that happened. You know what I'm saying? If you guys were aware that they were out here arresting reporters who report on this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't know, give me a thumbs down. I'm not even going to lie to you. I didn't know. I had no idea. You know what I'm saying? But apparently they out here arresting folks talking about this. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency sent a letter to Norfolk Southern stating that ethylene glycomonobutyl ether, ethyl acrylic, and isobutylene were also in the rail cars that were derailed, breached, and are on fire. Okay, so basically this article here is just a transcript of what we just watched. Okay, so we'll talk about the reporter who had some issues later. Now, they've also had like some animal deaths and some strange things. And we have that woman, you guys know the movie. I think Julia Roberts played the part of Erin Brockovich. Well, apparently the real Erin Brockovich decided to come on CNN and talk about Biden's poor response to this crisis, which, it's good that she's talking about it, I guess, but I hope while she's at it, she decides to say something about Flint, Michigan and Jacksonville too, because, we're not going to sit here and act like just because these people in East Palestine from here on out are going to have an even more difficult time surviving the suburbs, that we're not already dealing with issues in other areas of the United States where the government, Obama at the time, and then Biden currently have failed the people there. So again, this is one of those situations we need to be talking about all of this stuff. And Benton Harbor, facts, RG Titan, and shout out to Val Williams for answering the Nightbot, and shout out to Carla for answering the Nightbot as well.
It's been nearly a week since the evacuation order was lifted in East Palestine, Ohio, where a train carrying hazardous chemicals derailed on February 3rd. You might remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to my man Tarek over there on Facebook. Tarek says, y'all don't forget to check out BLR on this platform too. Yeah, so also if you guys aren't subscribed to Blacklight Revelations on Facebook, make sure you go over there and check that out. It's another alert, a notification that you'll be able to get. And also, there's chat and stuff like that available over there too.
Remember, 3 days after the derailment, fearing an explosion, authorities controlled what they called a controlled release of the toxic chemicals. They burned off, which created a massive black cloud over the town. And while the EPA has tried to reassure the public.
Now, do you think that they should have contained that fire? See, because the thing is that when these things go up like this, they cause what's considered a plume. And that plume then disperses the low density toxins across the atmosphere at a certain radius. I don't know if this was necessarily the best way to go about doing this. What do you guys think?
And while the EPA has tried to reassure the public that the air and water in the area are safe, not all residents are convinced, and they are incredibly concerned about the.
So now I want you guys to hear that, right? The EPA is saying that the water and everything is safe. Let me ask you guys a question. Would you all drink the water from out there? If you all would drink the water from out there, give me a thumbs up. If you guys wouldn't drink the water from out there, give me a thumbs down. Let me know why not.
The long-term potential impacts both on the environment and the economy. CNN's Jason Carroll is in East Palestine, Ohio. And Jason, Ohio Governor DeWine gave an update on this just a short while ago. What did he have to say?
He did. And one of the headlines coming out of this update from the governor, as well as state health officials, Jake, is that they're now strongly recommending that those who evacuated and returned home, some of those folks, they're saying you should be drinking bottled water until further notice.
So remember, they just said everything's fine, everything's okay. And now they're saying, well, maybe you should probably drink bottled water until further notice. Clearly, that water is contaminated. You know what I'm saying? Clearly.
This is especially true, they say, of pregnant women and also women who are breastfeeding. Also included in that are folks who have private wells. And so this announcement just coming out just a short while ago, they're saying that, again, most of the contaminants have been contained, but they want to wait for more testing to come back from the municipal testing that is still outstanding. So right now, in terms of the cleanup effort, they're focused on 4 waterways. They do say that since the train derailment and since the controlled release, they say that now an estimated 3,500 fish have died from 12 different species. We've spoken to.
So, I mean, here's the thing, right? If the wildlife, if the ecosystem is dying and decaying, what does that tell you about the situation out there? That probably says that it's pretty damn toxic, right? Yeah, we're gonna have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Master Splinter and Rocksteady and Bebop and Leatherhead and Baxter Stockman and all of them running around down there. You know what I'm saying? Biden is quiet. Right. That's because Biden is an idiot. Let me tell you guys something. When it comes to disaster management, the government is not very efficient. You know, they have all of these disaster drills and they have FEMA and they have all of this stuff. But anytime when there's an actual situation, the government response is never very efficient, is it? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash that like button. All right. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the bell icon and subscribe. And please share the video to your social media.
To a number of people here on the ground who are hearing about all this information, they are extremely frustrated and, quite frankly, really worried about their safety. The governor was asked about that. He said if he lived in the area, would he feel safe being at home?
I think that I would be drinking the bottled water, and I would be continuing to find out what the tests were showing as far as the air. I would be alert and concerned, but I think I would probably be back in my house.
Again, state officials say the air quality is safe. They are still waiting for some more test results on the water.
So now here's my question. How do they know the air quality is safe? And where are the tests that they did where people can see if the air quality is safe or not? What is that thing that counts radiation? Is that called a Geiger counter? If I'm not mistaken, does a Geiger counter measure radiation? So I'm curious as to why they haven't shown any people scanning the area with a Geiger counter. Because that would let us know how radioactive the area is, right? And shout out to my man KO Kid Fit. What's good with it, bro?
Quality, but a lot of people here feeling very unsafe at the moment.
Yeah, understandably so. And the town is inviting members of the community to get together tomorrow. What do we expect at that?
From everything that we've heard here on the ground, expect a lot of fireworks. Jake?
All right, Jason Carroll in East Palestine, Ohio. Thanks so much. Another person who's been following this disaster closely is consumer advocate and environmental activist Aaron Brockovich. Aaron, welcome back to The Lead. The EPA has tried to reassure residents of the East Palestine, Ohio area that any immediate danger is past, but government officials.
Yeah, I don't think that any immediate danger has passed. And shout out to Hobb and Landmark. What up with y'all? And shout out to Ronnie too. I don't think that any immediate danger has passed. In these kind of situations, the danger isn't always immediate. When it comes to hazardous materials, when it comes to radiation, the danger is long and ongoing, and it requires continuous monitoring. If you ask me, all they're trying to do is just get everybody to shut up so that they can go ahead and go about their business. There's no possible way that you can sit there and say, well, you know, all the concern is over. There's nothing else to see here. I don't think that that's how that works. And shout out to DSB. What up with it, bro?
Officials confirmed approximately 3,500 fish have died in Ohio's waterways after the derailment. When asked about those deaths, and reports of people getting headaches and sore throats.
So now here's the question. If everything is fine, why is the ecosystem responding that way? Why are people feeling symptoms, and why are fish dying? That's the question. What are you guys' answers to that? What do you guys think?
The health director for the state of Ohio says it doesn't look like air quality is to blame. What do you make of all this?
Okay, well, what is to blame?
Oh my gosh. Well, after just listening to that report, just kind of goes to show the delay of information that's getting out to the people and addressing their concerns. Since this happened on February 3rd, I've been hearing from the community as early as February 4th about children having breathing issues, onset of asthma attacks, rashes, projectile vomiting, getting evacuation orders, not knowing where to go to shelter in place. A lot of.
So now here's my question for everybody, because this isn't out of the realms of being impossible. And I want everybody to answer this question for me. If something like this were to happen in your home state or in your hometown, here's my question. For one, do you know what to do? Two, are you prepared to do it? How many people are capable of survival if this happened? Let me know in the comment section.
A lot of confusion, a lot of miscommunication, if no communication. Here we are 10 days out, and now you're just hearing the governor, as your reporter just stated. Now there's an issue with don't drink the water. This is precisely what's concerning this community.
Shout out to Ronnie. Ronnie said Charlie Kirk said it's a war against white people. Don't you ever notice that anytime there's this alleged war against white people, other white people are always the perpetrators? Yeah, that was the B1 train, the bomb first train. Yeah, no. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, man, like, we got to have a sit down. I really just want to ask one of these people, if you guys are worried about a war against white people, why do you continue to wage war against each other and then blame everybody else for your war? See, like, the thing is, you know, like in most situations, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, family feuds, it might be a black eye or, you know, broken nose or something, man. When it comes to white people family feuds, I mean, they could actually end all life on earth as we know it, to where the world is only a population of microbes and cockroaches, and they don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. You know, I mean, how many times has Putin threatened nuclear annihilation and Joe Biden's like, yeah, go ahead, shoot one of those nukes. We'll shoot 10 back after he shit on himself at the podium? Make it make sense.
Because all the information isn't in yet. Look, it was a train derailment, 10 cars of a very hazardous chemical, vinyl chloride, that was set to explode, that they put into a controlled burn, and the information isn't all in. So what assurance are you going to give this community that it is in fact safe, which has been their concerns all along? And now we're hearing drink bottled water. So this is a bad situation for this community, and they have every right to be concerned. And the reports go on to animals that have died, chickens that have died, beyond the fish. So this is so mismanaged.
Yeah, I'm out here, but it's I don't live out in East Palestine. I used to live by Youngstown, which is I want to say like about an hour and a half from East Palestine, but I don't live in Youngstown no more. You know what I'm saying? This is about this is probably about 3 hours from me. You know what I'm saying? This is in the super boondocks. You know what I'm saying? This is in the super boondocks. And see, like I'm a I'm a boondocky type motherfucker. Like I don't like to be around people. I don't know if you guys have like looked at any of the landscape or anything or seen any pictures of this, but like this would actually be the type of place where I would post up at. I'd be like, all right, cool. There's like nobody for miles around. This is exactly where I want to be at. Yeah. So is Youngstown. Like there's a long strip of Ohio that's borderline by PA. East Liverpool, East Palestine, Lebanon, Mesopotamia, you know what I'm saying? All of those little spots are like right over there. Salem, you know what I'm saying? Boardman, Hubbard, Camel, you know what I'm saying? They're by Western PA. You know what I'm saying?
Managed. And such a systemic issue going on in all of these environmental issues that aren't being addressed. And leaders really need to show up at that town hall and be present.
I really would like Charlie Kirk to come. Yeah, Dave Chappelle, I think he lives more towards central Ohio. Dave Chappelle lives like in the Columbus area. The entire state of Ohio is boondocks. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole state is just a boondocky ass state. You know what I'm saying? But like, I want to know how Charlie Kirk in his convoluted, empty ass head with a pea brain says that this is a war against white people. Lois says, I'm in the you should see all the Afghans they dropped off in Youngstown. Oh, I'm sure. I used to live in Youngstown. Back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I used to be up on Belmont, you know what I'm saying? On the strip, you know what I'm saying? I used to be out there, you know what I'm saying?
And hear what's happening to that community. So it's very frustrating and concerning.
The Ohio EPA says it's not sure how much of these chemicals spilled into the soil or the water. They also acknowledge that the cleanup and monitoring of the derailment site could literally take years. Is this an indication that people should not live in East Palestine?
Youngstown, Ohio is a sanctuary city? Are you serious? Hold on, wait, that's laughable. Wait a minute, hold on real quick. Are you for real, Carla? Youngstown, Ohio is a sanctuary city. Do you know Youngstown used to be #1 per capita murders in the United States? Man, them immigrants crazy if they want to go to Youngstown is so bad, they still got mafia shit going. Like you can actually find somebody in cement shoes out in that motherfucker, man. Like them Lois say it's not the same. See, I was about to say those motherfuckers still have the pattern bald 5'11" suit wearing like actual I'm gonna eat some calzones outside of a business mafia type motherfuckers there. Like Youngstown still had them motherfuckers out there that's like, man, we about to type this motherfucker up. See, man, we're gonna go around circle the block. See, man, like Youngstown still has that kind of like crime. You know what I'm saying? And then one of their cousins will be the judge, and then their other cousin own the mall. Like that's how Youngstown is. That's crazy. I haven't been to Youngstown in a. Is it like, man? Youngstown used to just be. Youngstown was one of them. Man, it's a gas station right across from St. Elizabeth's Hospital in the hood on Belmont, where they sell like the little flip gas station snacks and shit like that. They got people from Afghanistan out there. What the hell are they doing out there? Where they staying at? I gotta go back out to the yo. I gotta I gotta go grab some clips up and go back out to the yo. I gotta see what the hell popping off over there. I ain't driving over there now though with the mushroom clouds, you know what I'm saying? All that nuclear waste and shit going on over there, but yeah, see, I'm not lying. See, Lois just said 2 mafia members have been indicted. Man, Youngstown is the type of shit they'll find your body burnt up in a hefty bag on the side of the freeway. Like, Youngstown is mafia bad. Not like, I mean, they got all the shit. They got gangs and people getting shot up for no reason too, but they still have mafia going on out there. You know what I'm saying? and the judges are related to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, their whole families be in on it out there. Do they still got that Greyhound station downtown? If North Side, yeah, because Austintown is kind of right by Niles. Like, I used to live in Niles too. I know all about Austintown, you know what I'm saying? That's right off of 76 and McKinley Heights and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I know all about Youngstown, man. I used to stay out there. I used to kick it out there. You know what I'm saying?
Ohio or the surrounding area?
That's exactly what the community wants to know. And as long as this information isn't given to them, full transparency, whether you do or don't know something, you leave them in a horrible, vulnerable position to return to an environment that is unsafe. And that is absolutely unacceptable from local, state.
Aaron Brockovich about to go full Karen. She want to talk to the manager. That's why she want to talk to Joe Biden.
And any federal authority. Look, this community wants to believe that the oversight is protecting them, but we're hearing way too many stories, how long it could be for cleanup. We don't have all the data.
Hey, yo, check this out real quick. How many of y'all are familiar with the Economist magazine? If you're familiar with the Economist magazine, give me a thumbs up. If you're not familiar with the Economist magazine, give me a thumbs down. Hold on real quick. Let me see what y'all said. Hold on real quick. I'm trying to find something here. Man, I want to hold on. I want to find this one particular image. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, here we go. All right. Yeah, so how many? Okay, so check this out, right? We're going to take a quick intermission from this. I want to show y'all something. So one thing that's interesting about the Economist magazines is that, like, the Economist magazines, they have an interesting way of always predicting the future, like, accurately on the covers. Did you guys know that? Have you ever heard anything about that? If you guys know that or have heard anything about it, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't, give me a thumbs down. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Okay. So what I'm going to show you guys is I want to show you guys the cover of the 2017 Economist magazine. All right. You guys see it? Now, if you look at this card down in the bottom left-hand corner, this card in the bottom left-hand corner says death. And what it has is it's got the Grim Reaper on the pale horse, you know, like behold a pale horse. And then it's got the nuclear mushroom clouds. And then it's got the you see, hold on real quick. You see, and then it's got the pestilence, the insects there, and all the people drowning. And see the dead fish in the middle of the river right there. And then there's the card. This one right here has got Trump on the toilet. Then it's got the tower, communism versus Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Then it's got these world governments. You see these pyramids and these columns right here. Then it's got these leaders, each of these leaders getting taken out. Then on this hermit card right here, it's got these protests all over the place. Now, remember, this was in 2017. Yeah, it's like Simpsons in the print. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing, right? Like, that wouldn't be impressive, right? Unless you looked at the cover of The Economist magazine in 1986. How many people know what's on the cover of The Economist magazine in 1986? Hold on real quick. I want to find a bigger one. Just give me a minute. If you guys know what's on the cover of The Economist magazine in 1986, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. Okay, so in 1986, what was on the cover? John got it. It was a phoenix, right? But the thing that was interesting about it was that it was the Phoenix coin, talking about get ready for a one world currency, and the unit on it was 10. And the year of it was 2018, right? Now, the thing that's crazy about it is that in 2018, that was the first time Bitcoin went to $10,000. You know what I'm saying? And then when you look at who owns the Economist magazine, who's on like the publishing staff, you know what I'm saying? That shit is partially owned by, you know what I'm saying, like one of the prominent families of them folks, you know what I'm saying, that begins with an R. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. This is just something to think about. So then, like, fast forward to 2022, 2023, we got C-19, we got a pandemic, you know what I'm saying? We got pending nuclear war with Russia. The doomsday clock has advanced to 30 minutes before midnight. It's just like, okay. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Don't drink the water.
What up with it, bro?
Why would they want to live there?
So
And at this point, I don't think there's faith or trust.
Yeah,
Jake,
you've been
in
calling.
what the government agencies are telling them.
You've been calling on the Biden administration to be better about communicating with the residents of East Palestine, Ohio, who, as you note, feel as though they've been left in the dark. What should the Biden administration, what should the Biden EPA do differently?
Show up and hear that community, see that community, listen to that community, go out there, find the dead animals, do the testing.
So now here's my question, right? Who is our Aaron Brockovich for Flint? And who is our Aaron Brockovich for Jackson, Mississippi? Who are the Aaron Brockovich equivalents, advocates for those areas? Because clearly Aaron Brockovich is only concerned with East Palestine, Ohio. So my question is, where are our Aaron Brockovich equivalent advocates? Where are they? Do you guys know who they are, what their names are, where they are, if they even exist at all? Do they even exist?
Start doing water testing and being transparent with them. Look, by not showing up, by not addressing this, that a national train derailment of very hazardous information. You do nothing but create a vacuum of an upset community, a misinformed community, a distrusting community, and it adds to rumors, speculation, losing trust, and a lot of theories. Show up and answer their questions, be present, act like you care about what's going on in your backyard in this country, and be involved and not just sit there and give them a bunch of misinformation, and then you wonder why they're frustrated. Show up.
What are you expecting at the open house, the town hall tomorrow?
Well, so right before we came on, I've heard that they've changed that town hall, which would be a format for the community to ask and get questions answered. It's been turned into an informational desk where you.
So now here, that's interesting. Why would they change the format of the town hall into a quote unquote informational desk? Why would they do that? That's bizarre, isn't it? What good would that do?
You can go and get information, of which I understand Norfolk Railroad will be there. That just smells. So the town hall isn't going to be what is expected.
Right. I agree, DSB. She's only running her mouth because white people were affected by this. Had it been all black hood, she wouldn't have opened her mouth. Right. Just like how she didn't open her mouth during Jackson or during Flint. But my question is, we know that. So how come we don't have somebody that's equivalent to what she's doing? Why are only people on YouTube, like content creators, doing it? Are there any people on the ground who are getting the interviews, who are trying to knock at the door for journalists to open up and give tours and show that there's a need for emergency assistance? You know what I'm saying? Like, is anybody, like, are people doing that, or are we disinterested in that? So now Deneen says the guy on Status Quo has been covering Flint for over 7 years and he's white. And like, here's my thing, right? Hats off to him. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot of people that just automatically just flare up and get uptight and get some kind of allergy simply because a white person said something, right? I don't. If that guy is doing that, hats off to him. It's benefiting probably him, but it's also benefiting us. My question, though, is never for somebody that's not black. My question is always for black people. Where is the person like that for us, and why isn't there one if there isn't one? Shout out to Hey Mr. Knickerbocker. See, these are the questions that we got to ask, because if we don't have any expectations of anybody to, you know, involve us in any regulatory activity, then we have to control our own regulatory activity. And my question is, who's taking the lead to do that? Uh-oh. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says she finna go full Karen today. Shout out to Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker. What's good with it, Black Bitcoin Key? Michael R says we don't have knowledge to understand the advantage of an advocate. Then we lose. We got Google. You know what I'm saying? We got cell phones. We got computers. People can figure out how to do all kinds of complex editing and dances and all kinds of other shit, right? I don't think it's that we don't have the knowledge. I think that it's not something that we prioritize until right at the brink of when we need to do it. If we don't have the knowledge, then we lose. And then you just have to accept the loss. We have unlimited knowledge that we pay whatever our monthly payment on our cell phone is right at our fingertips. All we got to do is just put the information in and ask what it is that we needed to know. Or you can just ask Siri. You know what I'm saying? But it's a priority thing. You know what I'm saying? Carl just said, uh-oh, off-code media alert. Right. Right. Put on your safety belt. Here's the thing, right? I don't think that it's a good idea. And I'm not picking on you, Michael, so please don't feel that way. I don't think that it's a good idea for people moving forward to make lack of knowledge or ignorance or IQ claims against ourselves. And the reason why I say that is because people are already doing that. They've been doing it for centuries. So now if we say, well, we can't do this because we don't know, that's substantiating a lot of that bullshit that people have been putting out. So the thing is that you either learn how to do it or you lost. That's the same thing like when people say, like, we've been tricked, right? Well, we've been tricked, right? You've been tricked. That means that you've been tricked. That means that you lost. That's the idea of tricking somebody. The idea of tricking somebody is to take advantage of them. So if you sit there and say that you've been tricked, well, guess what? You lost a craps game. Somebody just walked away with all the money. You're broke and somebody else is rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the reality of it. So that means that there's something that needs to change. And what needs to change is that there needs to be a little bit of self-starting. People need to say, hey, there needs to be somebody that's advocating for these people on the ground, an expert in chemicals. You know what I'm saying? Maybe an ex-EPA agent or something like that, or somebody who's a chemist, or somebody that worked at a factory or something like that, that dealt with hazardous materials or something, or not even somebody like that, just even somebody that's a intelligent, strategic community advocate. You know what I'm saying? Like, Aaron Brockovich don't have to do this. They made a movie about the woman. I'm sure she got plenty of money. You know what I'm saying? We got to do this stuff. We got to do it. Every time when people get into these deep conversations, right? One thing that people like to do is people like to cut other people out of the conversation. I understand it. I get it. Right? It's the same thing like how many people's parents told them when they was little kids, stay out of grown folks' business. I heard that all the time, and I ain't even say shit because I didn't care what my mom and dad was saying, but I would just be sitting at the table, and I might happen to look up from my plate. My dad would look over at me. Why you all up in my mouth, boy? Stay out of grown folks' business. I ain't even say nothing, but okay, I'll stay out of grown folks' business. You know what I'm saying? So I get the need to have internal conversations, right? I understand that. I think everybody does. But the question then becomes, after the internal conversations, then what? Because here's a question, and I want to ask this to you guys, and I want to know you guys' honest opinion. Do you think that this will get cleaned up and wrapped up and taken care of before any more attention is given to Jackson or Flint? That's my question. I think this will. I think that they'll clean this up. And even if they don't clean it up, I think that they'll try to clean it up and present it, or whatever they do, they'll give some kind of restitution or moving packages or do whatever they can to appease the people in the area, more so than what was done with Flint and Jackson. And we know why. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker said, I've been skipping this story all week. I kept seeing it, and I thought, yeah, it's in Middle East, United States. You know what I'm saying? So, like, my thing is that we gotta start thinking about grassroots representation for like everything. And we got to start thinking about ways of amplifying the grassroots representation's voices. Deneen says the majority of our people aren't angry enough. The acceptance of our benign neglect and oppression just drives me nuts. They haven't embraced villainy. You know what I'm saying? They haven't embraced villainy. They're busy caring about what people think and say. They also are busy ducking behind a tree. You know what I'm saying? Living life in fear. You know what I'm saying? People got to make a choice. People have to. That's what people don't understand. People have to make a choice. There is a choice. And what people don't realize is that inaction is also a choice. That's a choice. You know what I'm saying? People have to understand that if you don't control your own destiny, somebody will control your destiny for you. And it's not about, I think that a lot of people just are not invested in themselves or their destiny enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're invested in their destiny enough. And just mark my words. Just watch. Just watch. Just pay attention. If you don't believe me, all I ask is that you just take a look at a lot of different situations and assess them honestly. If you assess the situation and you ask yourself, well, how come this wasn't done? How come that wasn't done? How many times have you guys seen a situation that was done exactly the way that you would want it to be done? You rarely see it, and there's a reason why. Our favorite troll is on Twitch because he's scared to come to YouTube.
So I expect there will be even more outraged and upset citizens who now aren't going to get their questions answered. Rather, the narrative will happen for them instead of us hearing their narrative of what happened to them.
Aaron Brockovich, thanks so much. It's been
all right, so there's that. All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna look at this article with these fish. Yeah, bring your ass over here to YouTube. over there on Twitch. Abby ain't even over there today. You over there by yourself. Tony don't want this smoke over here. Nah, he gonna get the mushroom clouds. He gonna be sitting right next to them fish. Tony, you gonna be right here next to these fish and chicken. Tony, bring your ass over here. Come on over here and get that abuse. You know what I'm saying? Come on over here and get this abuse. He's scared. He said, no, I can't. You guys are all about censorship. Ain't nobody about to censor y'all. Get your bitch ass over here. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says worried residents near Ohio train derailment report dead fish, chickens, and we saw Tony's head peeping around over there. As authorities say it's safe to return. You see, Tony, the authorities said that it's safe for you to return. So come on over here. You know what I'm saying? Stop crying and shit. Residents around East Palestine fear their animals, and water sources were exposed to hazardous chemicals. Now, we know that they were exposed to hazardous chemicals. So what are they talking about? They fear that they're exposed to hazardous chemicals. It's already been confirmed. They already named the 3 extra chemicals that they found. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out and see what they're talking about.
It's been 12 days since the fiery derailment of a train carrying hazardous chemicals through East Palestine, Ohio, and the plan burned to prevent a potentially catastrophic explosion. Residents worry about what's still in the air, soil, and water of their rural community.
Don't tell me it's safe.
Hey, have y'all ever noticed that, like, on the news, especially like when it's like NBC night news, the person that's doing the narration always sounds like an old dude that just got off of a treadmill? Like, this dude sounds old, stressed out, and in a rush all the time. You know what I'm saying?
It's been 12 days since the fiery derailment of a train carrying hazardous chemicals through East Palestine, Ohio, and the plan burned to prevent a potentially catastrophic explosion. Residents worry about what's still in the air, soil, and water of their rural community.
Don't tell me it's safe. Something's going on.
So this is a rural community, huh? Looks like East Palestine just made it a little bit harder to survive the suburbs.
Correct.
Ohio officials confirming some 3,500 fish died in local waters in the days after the derailment, but insist extensive testing shows there's no threat to other wildlife or humans. They say there's only anecdotal evidence of residents getting sick and no confirmed connection to the hazardous chemicals aboard the train.
He sounds like he's spitting, and I bet you he got like 5 handkerchiefs and shit. Those hazardous chemicals in the train derailed. Outrage grows over train derailment. NBC Nightly News. Mike McMillan, back to you. Like, seriously?
I definitely have a right to know what was on that train.
Still, for the first time, state officials suggested residents returning to the evacuation zone use bottled water.
I'm about to read this like this dude. Like when this video get over, I'm about to read this article like how this dude is reading it with the utmost urgency. You know what I'm saying?
If they have a private well while testing continues. The governor was asked if he would return home if he lived near the crash site.
I think that I would be drinking the bottled water. I would be alert and concerned, but I would probably be back in my house.
An answer leaving some residents with mixed emotions.
I feel about 80% safe.
Ben Ratner and his family live half a mile from the crash site. Their kids are back in school after being out for a week.
It sounds like you're still worried.
Oh, that's a black dude. That's him right there. Man, he reading that shit like he trying to get to the time clock because it's a nice day and he get off at 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
More so worried for the long term.
Residents have filed multiple class action lawsuits seeking damages from the rail operator Norfolk Southern, including free health monitoring and screening. The company says it has already paid residents more than $1 million in assistance and that it's committed to cleaning up any contamination.
All right. We'll keep an eye on it. Thank you, Ron.
He's reading that shit like, I just recently saw Good Morning America, or whatever the hell the name of that show is, with TJ Holmes and Amy Roebuck. And I, too, want to hurry up and get out of work so that I can go on a date and bust down one of my coworkers. NBC News, whatever the hell my name is. Like, bruh, slow down. You know what I'm saying? That's hilarious. So now, here it says 4 days. For days, authorities have been telling residents of the area around East Palestine, Ohio, that it is safe to return after a 150-car train carrying hazardous chemicals derailed on February the 3rd. Now, I want to backtrack a little bit, and I want to know how many people heard about this around that time, around the February 3rd time. that dude voice had me dead, man. Like he trying to hurry up and get through this. Like, these motherfuckers just gave me another goddamn assignment. It's Friday night and I had plans to go to the bar with 2 of my coworkers, but instead a train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. And now we have to cover this because fish, wildlife, and plants are dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got it. You know what I'm saying? You got it, bro. Go ahead and get that shit. Aber Promotion says, I have a very non-threatening voice. Man, that's funny as hell, man. Could you imagine this dude ordering a pizza? Is this the place that delivers in 30 minutes or less? What I'm going to need is a thick crust, pepperoni, cheese, tomatoes, mozzarella, and breadsticks. A 2-liter Coke, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the Ohio Department of Natural Resources said the chemical spill resulting from the derailment had killed an estimated 3,500 small fish across 7 miles of streams on Wednesday. And one resident of North Lima, more than 10 miles from East Palestine, told WKBN-TV of Youngstown that her 5 hens and rooster died suddenly on Thursday. The day before, rail operator Norfolk Southern had burned train cars carrying vinyl chloride, a flammable gas, to prevent an explosion. I wonder, did they get any consultation on that before they decided to do it? You know what I'm saying? He sound like he remind me of old boy on the Chappelle show when he was like, I just got my reparations and y'all can kiss my big black ass. So now here it says, for some people who live near the derailment site, the reports continue to spur fear that they and their animals might be exposed to chemicals through the air, water, and soil. They and their animals. You know what kind of neighborhood that is. Don't tell me it's safe. Something is going on if fish are floating in the creek. Kathy Reese, who lives in Negley, Ohio, told NBC affiliate WPXI of Pittsburgh last week. Reese said she saw dead fish in a stream that flows through her backyard. Jenna Gianos, 39, a wedding photographer in nearby Boardman, said that in Boardman is pretty close to Youngstown. She said she had a persistent cough for the past week and a half. She had been drinking bottled water, and she is uncomfortable bathing in water from the bathroom spigot, she said. They only evacuated 1 mile from that space, and that's just insane to me, she said, coughing throughout the conversation. I'm concerned with the long-term health impact. It's just a mess. So as you can see, the Ohio National Guard over there, they've got NBC suits on. You know what I'm saying? They're wearing NBC suits. So it can't really be assumed that it's safe if they have the National Guard over there and they're wearing NBC suits. You guys know what NBC suits are, right? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed that like button, please make sure you guys smash the like button. Also, if you guys have not shared the video out, please make sure that you guys share the video out to your social media. So now here it says, after the controlled burn, the Environmental Protection Agency warned area residents of possible lingering odors. So now, if there's lingering odors, what you're smelling is a chemical, which means that chemicals are still there. Pay attention. So Esposito says, why don't they just put Rob in charge of the spill? Oh, that's right. He would just like the whites to die and suffer. Because literally everything that I've been saying is just let everybody die there. See, this is what I'm saying about what these people hear is literally not attached to reality, which is one of the reasons why it's so easy for them to delete entire chapters of American history. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Ohio officials said Wednesday that residents could return home after air quality samples showed quote unquote readings at points below safety screening levels for contaminants of concern. Okay. But now here's the question though. What about other radioactive contaminants that aren't on the list of contaminants for concern? Ha. Cassie said, bring your little nub over here. Tony. Cassie said, bring your little nub over here so she can hit you with the wrench one time. So now here it says the EPA, which is overseeing the air quality testing, said air monitoring since the fire went out has not detected any levels of concern in the community that can be attributed to the incident at this time. However, the EPA said Friday in a letter to Norfolk Southern that chemicals carried on the train continue to be released into the air, surface soils, and surface waters. Okay, so now what about the chemicals that are released into the soil? Air quality tests aren't going to be able to detect those. Listen, Tony said exactly my point. Censorship, white male voices matter. If white male voices matter, then why do white males kill their families at such a high rate? There's nobody to listen to you talk if your entire family is dead. So if you want to be heard, here's some advice. Stop killing. So now here it says the EPA said that as of Saturday evening, it had screened the indoor air in 210 homes and hadn't detected vinyl chloride. But now they're saying that vinyl chloride is there. Another 218 homes had yet to be screened as of Sunday, it said. The EPA classifies vinyl chloride as a carcinogen, which means that it's a hazardous material because it's a cancer-causing agent. It's a cancer-causing agent. Okay. Routine exposure could increase one's risk of liver damage or liver cancer. Short-term exposure to high concentrations can cause drowsiness, loss of coordination, disorientation, nausea, headache, or burning and tingling, according to the Center for Disease and Control Prevention. East Palestine has scheduled an emergency council meeting for Wednesday to respond to constituents' concerns. Andrew Welton, a professor of environmental and ecological engineering at Purdue University, said it's possible the burn created additional compounds the EPA might not be testing for. And that's what I just said. That's what I just said. When they combusted the materials, they created other chemicals. The question is, what did they create? He said. Welton added that some of the other chemicals the train carried could also cause headaches, nausea, vomiting, or skin irritation. In Darlington, Pennsylvania, which is 4 miles from the accident, managers of the Kindred Spirits Rescue Ranch evacuated 77 of their biggest animals, including a yak and a zebu, for 2 days. We could see the plume come up and over us, said the ranch's founder, Lisa Marie Sopko. Our eyes were burning and my face could feel it. Sopko said she's concerned about the conditions. The ranch's water comes from its own 2 wells, but until experts can test them, Sopko said, her team is using 1 well with more sophisticated filtration system. And the thing is that the filtration system is not really going to change any radiation. The filtration system is not going to change any of the radiation. Filtration only removes contaminants. Radiation causes breakdown at atomic and nuclear levels. It causes radioactive decay. I don't think that a filtration system can really deal with radioactive decay. I think that has to be dealt with using chemicals. So now here it says the Ohio Department of Agriculture said the risk to livestock remains low. ODA has not received any official reports regarding the wellness of animals related to the incident, it said in the statement. Still, the Ohio Farm Bureau Federation is urging members to get the water from their local wells tested as soon as possible. The biggest concern is the water table at this point to see what kind of exposure there has been to these chemicals, said the Bureau's organizing director, Nick Kennedy. There's some level of frustration out there among farmers, Kennedy added. They just want answers. Their livelihoods may be at stake here. Now, here's a question, right? Let's just say, for instance, the animals survived and the animals were quote unquote okay. Is there a chance that there could be leftover radiation in the livestock and in the plants? If there's a chance of that, give me a thumbs up. If there's not a chance of that, give me a thumbs down. And shout out to my man Phil for sharing the stream. Laura Faust, the public information officer for the Columbia County Health District, said the department began groundwater sampling last week in partnership with the state health department, the state EPA, and contractors for Norfolk Southern. The results hadn't come back yet, Faust said, and she didn't know what to expect of them. She added that her department has received no reports of residents experiencing abnormal symptoms, which is crazy because there's people sitting up there talking about they having symptoms all the time. People complaining about nausea, people complaining about sore throats, people coughing. They said the one lady coughed throughout the entire interview. So what are they talking about here? But Gianos said she and other residents haven't gotten all their questions answered. So in the meantime, she started a Facebook page where people can keep in touch about their concerns. That'd be interesting if I could get some of these people on here to talk about what happened. So this article here, if I'm not mistaken, let me just take a look at this real quick. This came out on the 15th. And they still are not getting any answers. So now here's my question. why do you guys think that they're not getting any answers about this? They should be getting answers about this. You would assume that they would want to make sure that the people stay as informed as possible, right? So that there's no panic.
Tonight, outrage growing less than 2 weeks after that massive train derailment and the controlled burn of hazardous chemicals sent up a toxic plume of black smoke in East Palestine, Ohio.
It doesn't smell safe. I'm taking my things and I'm out of here.
Residents demanding answers, complaining of burning eyes, nausea, headaches, and a pungent odor. And report.
So now, see, like in that last article, the EPA said that nobody was experiencing any symptoms, right? And shout out to The Answer for answering the Nightbot. But now here it's saying the symptoms that people are experiencing. And yeah, I agree. If you guys agree with AB Promotions, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. That's one of the reasons why they said to make sure that you start documenting all of your health issues right now, if you're a person in that area, and make sure that you keep an ongoing log so that they don't try to dismiss those as pre-existing conditions. You know what I'm saying?
Pungent odor and reporting dead animals. Officials confirming 3,500 fish killed by the chemicals.
Don't tell me it's safe. Something's going on if the fish are floating in the creek.
State officials now suggest drinking bottled water after telling evacuated residents it was safe.
That's some Ohio shit right there. She said she said crick. You know what I'm saying? That's just like saying roof. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know about that shit.
To return home. The governor, who approved that controlled burn of toxic chemicals to prevent an explosion, was asked if he'd return home if he lived near the crash site, where crews now work.
That's some Ohio shit. If a motherfucker says roof instead of saying roof, or if they say crick instead of saying creek, or if they say pop instead of soda, that's how you know a motherfucker from Ohio.
To remove soil and wreckage possibly contaminated by chemicals like vinyl chloride, suspected of causing cancer.
I think that I would be drinking the bottled water, and I would be continuing.
Shout out to Roots Trackers.
Find out what the tests were showing as far as the air. I would be alert and concerned, but I think I would probably be back in my house
again today.
Yeah, we don't say wash, Chris. I think that might be like I think Southern Ohio, like by Kentucky and West Virginia, they might say wash. Because when you go past Cincinnati, people in Ohio got a Southern accent. You know what I'm saying? Like people from Northeast Ohio or Northwest Ohio, we don't have Southern accents. But when you go down into Columbus, like going into Columbus in Ohio is like the equivalent of going to the DMV and then like you in DC and then you hit the Maryland side. Like when you in the DMV, like when you in Silver Springs, people still kind of slightly got like a little bit of an East Coast accent. The moment you go like a street over, then like they in the South and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is in Columbus. And that yin shit, yeah, that's some Pittsburgh shit. The people that say yins, you know what I'm saying? That's some Pittsburgh Steelers shit. That ain't no Ohio shit.
Officials saying constant tests and monitoring of the air and water show the environment is safe.
We understand some of the
you know what
anxiety of the community.
I guess I never heard nobody say yins in Ohio though, but I know I know they say that shit in PA, but maybe like in those boondocky areas between Youngstown and in PA, or like down there by Coshocton and shit like that. Maybe they might say some shit like that. Like in those areas between like Youngstown. See, I used to live in Youngstown. I think Youngstown like 45 minutes away from PA. It's like 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh. It's like 45 or 50 minutes away.
We're going to be here until this problem is cleaned up.
I'm not believing those reassurances yet.
Why not?
I need proof.
Janet Hill, a breast cancer survivor, says she has a constant cough and sore throat. Worries about her firefighter son.
Look, Lemon Lucas said, listen here, y'all. Don't front on me like that. That's not no Pittsburgh shit.
Who spent days working the crash site.
I worry what's going to happen 5, 10, 15 years down the road.
Ron Allen joining me here in the studio. The train operator, Norfolk Southern, is facing some lawsuits.
Yes, multiple class action complaints demanding compensation and health monitoring for residents. The company says it has no comment on pending litigation and that it already has provided more than $1 million and other support for the community, and they say they're not going anywhere.
All right, Ron Allen, thank you.
All right, so there's that. There's that. So what we gonna do now? Real quick. Yeah, and that is interesting, AB. Shout out to Grimlock. I know, right? Where's the mustache? How many do y'all watch Democracy Now? We about to check out this video from Democracy Now real quick. Because they did a really good job outlining a lot of this. And then we got some more news articles coming up.
Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez as we turn to Ohio, where residents of East Palestine are living the real-life version of the...
I got another video coming up, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to do it. I think it might be one of those late-night streams. But I'm going to be using another Democracy Now! Video. You know what? Actually, what I'm about to do, just in case they try to do some funny stuff. Hold on real quick. I'm going to put this playback speed. I'm going to put this playback speed at 1. I'm going to put it at 1.5. Let me see. Hold on.
The Oscar-nominated Netflix movie.
Okay, cool. That's not too fast, is it? Shout out to Tone. What's up with it, bro? So what I'm going to do is there's another Democracy Now! Video that we're going to review that video, and we're going to review a couple articles. And I is that what this lady's name is? Amy Goodman. I bet she probably one of them folks. You know what I'm saying? But this is some good information, though, nonetheless.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez as we turn to Ohio, where residents of East Palestine are living the real-life version of the Oscar-nominated Netflix movie some helped make when they were extras in that film. This is part of the trailer for White Noise, about a suburban community that faces a so-called airborne toxic...
Surviving the suburbs. When are they? You know what? Blacklight Revelations production studios is just gonna have to come out with the documentary called Surviving the Suburbs. Yeah, see, AB Promotion says she one of them folks. So there you go. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Esposito said, "Oh God, not democracy. That old bag." He said that old bag. Amy needs to give it up. That's hilarious.
Event after a train wreck causes a chemical leak.
Tarek said, "It's hard not to look at her and go in my head, my pretty," from The Wizard of Oz.
Let's watch a sitcom or something. They're calling it the airborne toxic event. We won't come this way.
Will we have to leave our home? Of course not. How do you know?
I just know.
Okay, what if it's dangerous?
We have a situation.
White Noise stars Greta Gerwig and Adam Driver. But in real life, Palestine, Ohio, fears of a wider health and environmental disaster are growing after a 150-car freight train operating.
Hold on real quick. I'm about to try to speed it up one more notch and see if y'all can still understand it. Let me know if this is too fast. If this is too fast, put angry faces in the chat.
By Norfolk Southern, derailed and released toxic chemicals last week. Yes, in the community of East Palestine, near Ohio's border with Pennsylvania. Data released by the Environmental Protection Agency shows the train contained more toxic and carcinogenic chemicals than initially reported. The EPA also said, quote, materials released during the derailment were observed.
Is that too fast? is that too fast, or is that good? Can y'all? It's fine. Okay, cool. Bet. Okay, good.
Detected in samples from Sulphur Run, Leslie Run, Bull Creek, North Fork, Little Beaver Creek, and the Ohio River. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources estimates the spill killed more than 3,500 fish in surrounding waterways. Chickens have been found dead in their coops. Residents have reported sore throats, burning eyes, and respiratory problems. A controlled burn of the chemicals following the derailment sent a mushroom cloud of smoke and fire into the air that contained the toxic chemicals. Surveillance footage also shows the train on fire about 20 miles before it derailed with hazardous chemicals as it passed.
So I got a question for you guys. Do you guys remember when the guy in the very first video that we watched said that they did all of this just to put in a railroad track or something like that? Does anybody know what he was talking about? What did he mean? Landmark says Democracy Now! Does a great job of confusing Negroes and having them agree with things against their interests. That's the name of the game. I think that people should do a better job of not being confused. You know what I'm saying? But I agree. I'm sure that's exactly what they're trying to do because that's what they do with the media all the time. But remember, that's one of the reasons why that cliche, it's as easy as taking candy from a baby, exists. If it's as, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's as easy as taking candy from a baby, trying to change some things up a little bit, right? You know what I'm saying?
Through Salem, Ohio. Officials lifted an evacuation order for residents Wednesday, saying the air and water are safe. For more, we're joined by three guests. Ross Reuters is with us, locomotive engineer, co-chair of Railroad Workers United. Julia Rock joins us, an investigative reporter with The Lever, who's been following the derailment in Ohio. Her piece is headlined, "There will be more derailments and rail companies."
Oh, wait a
block
minute.
safety
Hold on.
rules
I think
before Ohio
some
derailment.
people are saying it's too fast because we got the angry faces coming in. I'm gonna put it back. I put it back down to 1.5. Let me know if this is okay.
But we begin with Emily Wright, a resident of Columbiana County in Ohio, a few miles from the derailment and explosion site in East Palestine. She's also the development director for River Valley Organizing, which is working with residents to call for justice-centered healing. Julia, Emily, can you describe the scene of what you're calling a chemically driven environment?
Justice. Okay, so now check this out, right? I want to show this right here is how you know the political system is fake. Okay, because I don't know if you guys have heard or I don't know if you guys have seen on Twitter, but what's going on is I guess there's always the fight between liberals and conservatives because that's literally the culture. That's all they do is fight. And so now what we have is we have liberals calling out conservatives, saying that conservatives are fake, outraged about this. And that it's not really an environmental crisis when liberals are the ones who hijack civil rights, black movements, and attach it to their climate initiatives, talking about climate justice, dumb shit like what Cori Bush be talking about. Have you guys ever heard or seen that tweet that Cori Bush made a couple years ago where she was like, climate justice is racial justice? Yeah, they they got people out here getting paid environmental reparations. What? You know what I'm saying? They got people out here getting paid environmental reparations. PC people, silent. Now, these people are literally doing the same thing that we did when it came to Flint, Hurricane Katrina, all of the natural disasters. And they were trying to shout it down. They went through there and took away people's guns. The very people who say, oh, you're not going to come and take our guns, were out there kicking in doors and trying to kick and take people's guns away. And shout out to Answer for answering the Nightbot. And real quick, also, if you guys haven't hit that like button, smash that like button.
Environmental nightmare. What does it look like, smell like? Describe what happened when the train derailed and how you learned about how you had to protect yourself.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. One of the things that I really want people to know is that this event has kind of three parts. So Friday night.
So now, like, here go my thing. As far as how I feel about this, I never paid $1 of stock to that company that derailed that train. Right? Like, nobody in my family that's alive today contributed to that company. I mean, why can't we just move past this? That sounds fucked up, doesn't it? How many black people own stock in that train company? How many black people live in East Palestine? Not a lot. That's the boondocks. Now, what if I just decided to say that, hey, why am I helping contribute to this? Man, I don't have no black guilt. I don't have no black guilt. I don't own this company. I don't invest in this company, and I don't live in this neighborhood. I don't have no black guilt. I don't want my taxpayer dollars going for that. When I live in a locality and I want my taxpayer dollars going towards my locality and my schools. See, that sounds messed up. That sounds messed up, don't it? I don't think it sounds messed up at all. I think it makes a great point. I think that the responses that Flint and Jacksonville, Mississippi got are the exact same responses that we should give to this. Hey, sorry about your luck, but I didn't have nothing to do with it. Better pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get you some iodine pills, not on Medicaid, because I don't want my healthcare dollars going towards this. And then, you know, just for shits and giggles, anybody that's got some extra spare change, you know, just sue the government every time they try to pay any money out to this company and say, hey, wait a minute, we need it for our business. Sorry, got to hold this up in court until you get cancer. Oh my God, you're so horrible. You're so horrible. You don't even have a heart. What's wrong with you? You're so horrible. How dare you? You're so horrible. I'm not horrible because that was cheered on when white people did it to black people in Oregon with the COVID-19 money. So now I'm horrible for literally saying the same thing that they did. Fuck it. I embrace villainy. I'm gonna keep saying it.
We had the derailment around 9 p.m. in between 9 and 10, and residents that were right at the site, you know, were evacuated. Then the next day, they evacuated more people on Saturday because it was still burning. And at this time, we didn't know what was on the cars. We heard maybe it was vinyl chloride, maybe it was 10 cars, maybe it was 5. We really didn't have a
It's
good
a
picture,
woman,
of what was
allegedly.
on the train.
That's what they said. That's what was written down. They presented this as a woman. You know what I'm saying? But even if you get presented as a woman, they'll catch you off guard like they did Dr. Umar Johnson. You know what I'm saying? You be up there calling somebody a beautiful queen, and next thing you know, they standing next to you at the urinal peeing and shit, shaking twice and then walking out, blowing you a kiss. Like, the fuck? That's the world that we live in. As a matter of fact, that might actually happen in this community anyway because of the radiation.
So we were told that if you were outside of that mile zone, you're okay. I live a few short miles. I think on the tracks, there's 5 miles in between where I'm at and where the derailment was. And, you know, you should be okay. And they kept saying the same thing over and over again on the media and in the press conferences. There's no toxins in the air. There's no toxins. Don't worry. Sunday night, we got an alert on our phone that there had been an additional explosion and that the fire was out of control again, which it never really was in control. We have pictures and videos that timestamp clear through that show it was burned.
So now they're presenting the fire as a controlled fire. You see how they keep saying that in the media? But according to this woman who says that she has some information, you know, and that she was there or something like that, apparently the fire wasn't controlled. According to her, the fire was burning out of control. Now, here's my question. What do you guys believe? Do you guys believe that the fire was out of control, or do you believe that the fire was actually controlled? She man. Here at Castle Gay Skull, you know what I'm saying? We have our heroes from Backdoria. She man. By the power of Gay Skull. By the power of Gay Skull. She man.
And to just be aware, like there was really no evacuation for us, just people that were a little bit further out from the radius. They were concerned on Monday morning that we were going to have an explosion. I will give everybody, you know, this much, that the explosion could have been much, much worse. So they announced to everybody that they were going to do a controlled release. And I'm using air quotes when I say controlled. So they were supposed to do it at 3:30. My daughter was going to be on the bus route at that time. I already was experiencing symptoms of,
I am Skeletor, and I must get my revenge. She-Man lied to me on a date. I pulled out my boner and she pulled out hers too. Trifling bitch.
I have asthma, so I was having shortness of breath already, and was concerned, you know, from that burn. I already had irritation. But when they did the release, they were supposed to do it at 3:30 p.m. They announced on a huge, you know, press conference. Mike DeWine was there. All of a sudden, they stopped the press conference. They evacuated DeWine. We work with a lot of, you know, we're nonpartisan, nonprofit, so we work with a lot of, you know, both sides of the aisle, politicians, and had, you know, got confirmation that he had been rushed out of there. The media was given 5 minutes to get out, that they were pretty sure an explosion was imminent. So they did not do the burn at 3:30. I can't tell you why. They did it 2 hours later. The problem is we had forecasted high wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour.
Hey,
We had
what
a lot
was
of wind in our area.
hey, what was Battle Cat's name before he turned? What was Battle Cat's name before he turned into Battle Cat? Y'all remember? You know how he'd be all scared and shit? He'd be all scared and shit. He-Man in She-Ra's dress, you know what I'm saying? And Battle Cat like, oh, Battle Cat like, oh, She-Man, I don't know what you're gonna do. What was that little ghost name that used to be? Oh yeah, that was his name, Cringer. Oh, oh, She-Man, you look like Prince Adam, but you're wearing She-Ra's costume. I'm scared.
The hills usually break it up, but it was announced that it was going to be very windy. So what they wanted to do was let it off earlier, so the cloud would go. I'm sorry, my voice.
Yeah, Orko will be like, yeah, She-Man, I don't know why you're wearing those heels. Those belong to She-Ra.
So the cloud would go straight up. It wouldn't span out. So they let it off late, and instead the winds caught it. It went over 4 counties, 4 to 5 counties in 2 states, actually 3, because the panhandle of West Virginia was also affected. So we have Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Hey,
West
but you know
Virginia,
what's
all
funny
affected
though?
by this
Hey,
huge
this is
mushroom
what's
cloud. You know,
crazy, right? This is what's crazy. I just made up a whole LGBTQ He-Man, and that's actually what they're playing for the kids nowadays. Like, that shit's not a joke. Like, the shit that I just joked about is actually some shit you might walk in on your kids watching on TV on the Disney Channel. That's what's crazy.
all seen the pictures, I'm sure. We started in my home, being just a few short miles away, experiencing nausea. Sorry to be explicit, but diarrhea. My father has bilateral asbestosis from working in the mill. So these industries are killing us in more than one way. And he could not breathe well. And, you know, I wanted to evacuate. We had family that was telling us to come, but then there was this massive shelter in place order put down. Do not be out if you don't have to. Shelter in place. In the same breath, we're hearing on a press conference and on the news, this is out of an extreme abundance of caution. There's no toxins. There's no toxins. There's no toxins. There's no toxins. That's all we kept hearing. But the only thing I really want to highlight, and I'm sorry if I'm going on too much, is what we found out through the org. We've been on the ground talking with people. We're actually investing. Our offices are in East Liverpool, Ohio, which is just a little bit south of East Palestine. But we have a lot of members of our org that live like me in and around East Palestine. So we've invested in the community.
Shout out to
and
Christopher
are bringing
Perkins. What's
on a
good,
couple
bro?
Organizers that are right outside the front door of the derailment, you know, to work with people. Because from day one, we've been fed what wasn't the truth. And now we find out with this EPA report that, over 10,000 gallons of oil.
This is crazy right here. And I think what's going on, and I agree with Ronnie, they did do it subliminally prior to us. But what I think is going on here is that I think there might be a lot of details when it comes to this that we were not told about. A lot of stuff going on here that we weren't told about. I think that the company and the government is covering things up. If you guys think that there's some cover-ups involved with this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, if you think that everything is being reported the way that it happened, give me a thumbs down.
Went into the ground, that the vinyl chloride was like double what we thought, and there was diethylene glycol, and there's other chemicals. Norfolk Southern, from what the EPA says, did not report this to the EPA.
Is somebody getting arrested right there? Like, what was that all about?
Chloride was like double what we thought, and there was diethylene glycol, and there's other chemicals.
Like, what's going on there?
Norfolk Southern, from what the EPA.
What was that? What was that? Did they accidentally clip to the wrong video or something? Like, what was going on there?
You know, to work with people, because from day one, we've been fed what wasn't the truth. And now we find out with this EPA report that over 10,000 gallons of oil went into the ground, that the vinyl chloride was like double what we thought, and there was diethylene glycol, and there's other chemicals. Norfolk Southern.
What's going on right there? The dude with the man bun, actually, it's two dudes with a man bun. Look like they arrested an old boy that's on the floor. Like, what? Oh, this is the reporter that got arrested. A reporter got arrested. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. We definitely gonna talk about that too. Is there anybody in here that knows about the reporter that got arrested and why they arrested him? Let me know in the comments if you guys know what's up with that.
From what the EPA says, did not report this to the EPA in a timely manner. So we know this is.
Emily, I'd like to, Emily, if I can, I'd like to bring in Ross Gruters as a locomotive engineer and co-chair of Railroad Workers United. Ross, your reaction to this derailment and fire, also this report that the fire had actually started before the derailment. What is the normal procedure that is supposed to occur in situations like this, and what your assessment of this crisis is at this moment?
Yeah, thank you, Juan. None of this really comes as a surprise. There's deep systemic issues. You talk about the normal response to an event like this. This isn't a normal event. And we really haven't seen anything like it in the United States, and probably not something like it since 2013, as you know, when we had the Quebec train derailment and explosion in Lac-Mégantic. There are deep systemic problems with the freight railroads right now, and those need to be addressed for us to have some sort of a normal response to events like this. And until we get at those root causes of the safety issues in the freight rail system in this country, it's not a matter of if these events are going to disrupt and really just what the people of East Palestine are going through is just, it's heart-wrenching. That's going to occur again. It's just a matter of when and where.
And what are some of the things that need to be addressed?
Well, at the root of it all is really cutbacks to staffing. You have companies that are making obscene amounts of money, and they're doing so by adopting operating policies. There's a whole system for this called precision scheduled railroading that is just designed to maximize profits. And what that means is you're cutting to the bone the amount of people doing the job. So you have fewer people doing a lot more work faster. You have across the board cutbacks on the maintenance of cars, on the maintenance of locomotives, on the maintenance of track. This is critical infrastructure. And those things are being done in many cases by skeleton crews or outsourced to subcontractors. And then you have increasingly long and heavy trains like the one we saw here, where these trains have a greater propensity to derail. They're going to derail more frequently because they are longer and heavier. And then lastly, you have the railroads themselves who are fighting any kind of regulation, whether it be train control systems that help manage the signal system or the lobbying efforts that we saw to kill electronic braking, which can make for safer operations and a quicker stop should a derailment like this occur.
You know, we're going to go to Julia Rock in a minute, the reporter who's covering this for The Lever, but I wanted to give Emily 30 seconds as you sit there, sometimes coughing, dealing with what you're dealing with. And by the way, I can only say, I think about Juan, his reporting after 9/11. You're talking about the EPA at the time, Christine Todd Whitman, the former governor of New Jersey, saying that after 9/11 attacks, the air was fine. And Juan's reporting led, exposing the lie of that, to the Daily News winning a Pulitzer Prize. So, Emily, your last 30 seconds on Democracy Now! Right now, what do you think is most important for people to understand?
Okay, the most important thing is that this is not a conspiracy theory. This is standard operating procedure for Norfolk Southern. They have 70 million in safety violations since 2000, and they have 21 million in environmental, just in environmental. 25 million Americans live on an oil train blast zone. 25 million Americans. This is in the poorest parts of America, going from Conway, Illinois to Pennsylvania, cutting through Appalachia. You know, they continue to do, safety issues, lower safety concerns, not worry about us, because we are the people that historically cannot fight back. So what we're going to do with River Valley Organizing is we're going to offer free soil and water testing to people so we can actually figure out what's going on. We have the University of Pittsburgh.
So now let me ask you guys a question. So far from like what this lady said, do you guys think that these are effective measures? Like, do you think that these are good things that they're doing? And do you think that it's going to help at all? Or do you think that this is kind of just water under the bridge and nothing that she's saying is really going to do much in the way of fixing any of these situations? What do you guys think?
And the University of Kentucky on board to do long range studies, because after the immediate aftermath, these people are going to need people to advocate for them. And, like I said, I have several family members that have cancer or asthma or COPD from these industries. And we really need them to stop killing us. And we told them 10 years ago, we told the EPA that bomb trains, this was going to happen. We had several collaborative organizations appeal to the EPA, and it happened.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with DSB. they have no idea how to fix the problem. The only way to fix the problem, if you ask me, is to get everybody out of that area, to close down and contain that area, and they have to just continuously treat that area until there's no more radiation that can be found. That's the only way that that's going to happen. But the thing is that for something like that to end up happening, the government would have to assist in coordinating that. And I don't think that the government really cares. I don't think the government really cares. So since the government doesn't care, yeah, exactly. Just like Chernobyl, PD Chicago B1. So since the government probably isn't as interested as this community would like them to be, I think that this is just going to be a hot ongoing mess that's kind of going to get ignored and swept under the rug. They'll get catered to the extent to where they shut up so people don't have to deal with the inconvenience of them talking. But I don't think that they're going to get the response that they're wanting. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
We clearly are going to come back to you in these coming days because there's so much to talk about. Emily Wright with River Valley Organizing right next to East Palestine in Ohio. Ross, in 30 seconds, can you respond to the joint effort by the Republicans and the Democrats, the bill that was signed off on by Biden, the law prohibiting a rail strike and imposing a deal rejected by over half?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They have a hard time trying to get rid of that stuff. A lot of time they just power dump it all over the place. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says, Rob, have you seen Chernobyl? Same thing here. They played it off, then waited to evacuate. Then it took forever to clean it up. Pure cover up. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I think that in any event of any kind of radiation spill or any kind of nuclear or chemical, biological hazard, anything like that, that's always going to be what we're going to see, because the government is never going to want to spend the appropriate resources or time to deal with that. You can't get rid of plastic, period. Yeah, it doesn't decompose, and it's really harmful if it gets into your human system, if it gets into your human metabolism. That's no good at all. You know what I'm saying?
The unionized railroad workers. And then we're going to go to Julia Rock.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Railroad workers have been fighting through the contract negotiation process for relief from the conditions, which are very stressful and very demanding, and have been exacerbated by precision scheduled railroading and the corporate greed. We've been trying to get relief from that. That would certainly help us in responding to and better managing our jobs to ensure that this doesn't happen. But this isn't going to be solved by one labor contract. It is systemic, and it needs some regulation. It needs regulators to step in and correct this, or we're going to continue to see things like what happened in Ohio a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'd like to bring in Julia Rock, the investigative reporter with the Lever, who's been following the derailment in Ohio. Julia, talk about this issue of the railroad companies convincing government officials to repeal brake rules.
Yeah, so this.
All right, so now they're going into the railroad aspect of this, and the railroad aspect of it, I'm sure, is extremely important. And shout out to Al, and shout out to the Answer for answering the Nightbot. But what I was the most interested in was the chemicals and the environmental changes. So now here it says this new video shows what led up to reporter's arrest in East Palestine. So let's check this out here. Doesn't sound like there's any sound. This is like 4 minutes long. So, I mean, and you can't hear any damn thing. Yeah, this is dumb. All right, so now here it says new video obtained by WKBN shows what led up to the reporter's arrest during a press conference in East Palestine last Wednesday. WKBN requested the video from the East Palestine City School District. Surveillance video from the elementary school's gymnasium where the press conference was being held shows two angles of what led up to the arrest of reporter Evan Lambert. Lambert had been reporting on the East Palestine train derailment as a correspondent for News Nation. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine was speaking in the gymnasium during a press conference that started 2 hours later than initially scheduled. Lambert was giving a live report during News Nation's rush hour when he was told by law enforcement personnel at the news conference to be quiet because DeWine had started speaking. Lambert finished the live report, but was then asked to leave by authorities who tried to forcibly remove him from the event. An affidavit claims the man in charge of Ohio's National Guard, Major General John Harris, confronted Lambert over his loud reporting, and that 2 highway patrol troopers, along with Harris, went back and advised them to stop that reporting. The affidavit accuses Lambert of being involved in an altercation with Harris during the incident. A statement from Harris says Lambert was aggressively lurching at him and screaming, "You guys are the ones who strung this thing out." Video of the incident from the gymnasium appears to show Harris push Lambert in the chest, leading law enforcement to surround the men, separating Harris from Lambert. The video then shows a heated conversation between Lambert and law enforcement before officers grab Lambert and escort him into the hallway, where video from other reporters at the scene shows them taking him to the ground in handcuffs. A statement issued to WKBN from the East Palestine Police Department says officers attempted to de-escalate the situation by asking Lambert to step outside. Lambert refused, saying he was doing his job and wanted to listen to what DeWine had to say. The statement says Lambert was taken to the ground during a struggle, an effort to maintain control of Lambert while preventing injury to the involved parties. After Lambert was taken into custody, DeWine spoke out during Wednesday's press conference and said he didn't personally order the arrest. It has always been my practice that if I'm doing a press conference, someone wants to report out there, they want to be talking back to people back on channel, whatever. They have every right to do that, DeWine said. If someone was stopped from doing that or told they could not do that, that was wrong. It was nothing that I authorized. Lambert's attorney, Youngstown lawyer Frank L. Cassis, also criticized the arrest. The claims made by Adjunct Mayor General Harris that Mr. Lambert was aggressive and that Harris was convinced he was prepared to do harm to me are patently false. It is our position that the numerous videos of the incident as recorded by bystanders speak for themselves, Cassis said in a statement. WKBN was also previously provided an Ohio State Highway Patrol officer's body cam footage of the incident. So we should check. Let me see if they got the video of the body cam footage. Oh yeah, they got the body cam. They got the body cam video of the footage. So we could definitely check that out. You guys want to see that? If you guys want to see the body cam footage, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't want to see the body cam footage, give me a thumbs down. Uh-oh. I didn't even know that this. Hold on real quick. What's going on here? Y'all didn't even tell me that this wasn't up. The claims made by Adjunct Mayor General Harris that Mr. Lambert was aggressive and that Harris was convinced he was prepared to do harm to me are patently false. It's our position that the numerous videos of the incident as recorded by bystanders speak for themselves, Cassis said in a statement. WKBN also previously provided an Ohio State Highway Patrol officer's body camera footage of the incident. Lambert faces charges of resisting arrest and criminal trespass. A special state prosecutor has been assigned to the case so that local entities are not involved. Nothing's going to happen. Even if they had got into a fist fight, we all know what time it is. Nothing would have happened anyway. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please make sure you guys take a moment and smash that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you guys hit that bell icon twice. Okay. All right, so let's check this out real quick. Let me see. Hold on.
Tonight, body camera video from the Ohio State Highway Patrol as a reporter from News Nation was arrested during yesterday's news conference in East Palestine. You can see the trooper turn just as the Ohio National Guard Adjutant General John Harris steps closer to reporter Evan Lambert. Then it appears Harris gives Lambert a light push to the chest as other law enforcement officers step in to do light push to the chest as other law enforcement officers step in to de-escalate the situation.
So it was a woman. looks like. That was aggressive.
Lambert appears. Harris gives Lambert a light push to the chest. As other law enforcement officers step in to de-escalate the situation, Lambert was told to leave or be arrested.
I am allowed to be here.
See, I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? But there it is right there.
As other law enforcement officers step in to de-escalate the situation,
Is that dude black?
Lambert was told to leave or be arrested.
I am allowed to be here.
That dude is black or mixed or biracial or something. So I mean, now it makes sense what I just, you know what I'm saying?
You know, hold the shut it down. You continue on. Go. Now. Or you can go to jail. Sir, you want to go to jail for criminal trespassing? You want to go to jail for criminal trespassing?
Yeah, that dude, that's a mixed dude. So I like how they didn't say anything. I like how they try to keep that under wraps.
You understand how quick.
Evan Lambert was taken into custody after he refused to leave the news conference. Reaction has been swift and
these little podunk towns in Ohio, you know what I'm saying, little boondocky ass nonsense. You know what I'm saying? It's racist out there. That they in East Palestine, they probably got like a population of black people 0. You know what I'm saying? So you know how that shit go. Let me see real quick. East Palestine, Ohio, black population. Let me see. Usually they had that kind of stuff on Wikipedia. (2022). Let's see. Okay, so check this out. Check this out. The population density in East Palestine, Ohio is 407% higher than Ohio. The median age in Palestine is 2% lower than Ohio. In East Palestine, 94.76% of the population is white. In East Palestine, 1.15% of the population is black. So that explains everything. That explains everything.
Pointed over the arrest. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says Lambert was completely within his rights as a journalist.
No one should have said anything to the reporter about whether he was loud or not loud. They shouldn't have said anything to him about being able to.
Why did the woman put her hands on him? Like, did you see how the little aggressive bitch pushed him? Just saying.
Broadcast or not.
Lambert is facing misdemeanor charges of resisting arrest and criminal trespass. His court date has been set for February the 23rd.
Where was he resisting at? Did we see any resisting going on there? He didn't even resist when the female officer pushed him. You know what I'm saying?
Youngstown area attorney Frank Cassis, who is representing Evan Lambert, released a statement tonight on the arrest, stating in part, quote, "The claims made by Adjutant General Harris that Mr. Lambert was aggressive and that Harris was convinced he was prepared to do harm to me are patently false."
Aggressive means you have melanin. That's what aggressive means. You could be quiet as hell, but your melanin is loud. You know what I'm saying? That's what they mean when they say aggressive, because clearly that dude wasn't saying anything or doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but even the governor said that wasn't, they shouldn't have told him to leave. It's actually unconstitutional to tell a journalist that they're not allowed to report on something and that they have to leave. And it also said in the article that when they asked him to stop reporting, because that's what they gave him a hard time about, he stopped. So that's why he said that he wasn't leaving, because it's actually illegal for them to make him leave. So now in this harmless nuclear spill, the train derailment prompts a water utility company to take precautions. A West Virginia water utility is enhancing its water treatment process as a precaution following the derailment of a train hauling chemicals. Now, my question is, why are they doing that in West Virginia and they not really doing it in Ohio? They telling everybody to drink bottled water. Oh, I agree. I agree 100%. He ain't black. Those rights don't apply to black folks. Yeah. Now, when Joe Biden talks about you ain't black, what Joe Biden should be saying is, if you're not benignly neglected by the Democrats, you ain't black. That's what he should have said to Charlemagne the God. You know what I'm saying? Let's check this out real quick. See what they talking about here. Hold on. I hate when they do this. This is just pictures of these train cars burning up. Look at how messed up they are. Man, that's bad. That's bad. That they lucky that this happened in the boondocks. I mean, it's people that live out there, so you know what I'm saying, it's not really a good situation for it to happen anywhere. But man, if this had to happen in a populated area, bruh. So now here it says a West Virginia water utility is enhancing its water treatment process as a precaution following the derailment of a train hauling chemicals that later sent up a toxic plume in Ohio. West Virginia American Water said Sunday that it's also going to install a secondary intake on the Guyandet River in case there's a need to switch to an alternate water source. The utility noted that there hasn't been any change in raw water at its Ohio River intake. The health and safety of our customers is a priority, and there are currently no drinking water advisories in place for the customers, the company said in a statement. Now, let me ask you guys, do you guys think that there should be drinking water advisories in place for the consumers? If you ask me, I think that there should be, even if it's just, well, just make sure that you monitor and make sure that nothing happens. Make sure that you're not getting any symptoms. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would have said. Because, you know, it's not really guaranteed that anything will happen, but it's also not guaranteed that anything won't happen. So what you want to do is monitor for safety. And then if you notice anything unsafe or if you notice anything abnormal, yeah, hurry up and report it. And then they should have a rapid response team for as soon as things begin to get reported, you would assume. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says about 50 cars, including 10 carrying hazardous materials, derailed in a fiery crash on February 3rd in East Palestine, Ohio. Vinyl chloride was later released into the air from 5 of those cars before crews ignited it to get rid of the highly flammable toxic chemicals in a controlled environment, creating a dark plume of smoke. So now what that lady said on the Democracy Now! Video is that she doesn't believe that this was a controlled burning. So now here it says residents from nearby neighborhoods in Ohio and Pennsylvania were evacuated because of health risks from the fumes, but have since been allowed to return. Residents who filed a federal lawsuit are seeking to force Norfolk Southern to set up health monitoring for residents in both states. So now, do you see how quickly the residents filed a lawsuit? Shout out to Abby. What up with it, Abby? The lawsuit filed Thursday by 2 Pennsylvania residents calls for the rail operator to pay for medical screenings and related care for anyone living within a 30-mile, which is 48-kilometer radius of the derailment to determine who is affected by the toxic substances released after the derailment. The lawsuit is also seeking undetermined damages. Okay. So there's that. That looks like, yeah. That's about it as far as that goes. So I think now, hold on real quick. This came out on February 14th. And again, see, we're getting like mixed signals with this. Here we have in the Washington Post has an article where it's saying drink bottled water. Officials tell Ohio town hit by toxic crash. Now, that's not what we just heard all throughout this entire thing. Right? And what's interesting is that the West Virginia water company is the one that's making preventative changes to their filtration processes. That's interesting, right? What do you guys think about that? So we got a lot of conflicting information here. And I hate to say it, but that's what you should expect in these kind of situations. The government has proven itself to never really be organized. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to these kind of things. Drink bottled water. This is coming from the Washington Post. Officials tell Ohio town hit by toxic train crash. The derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, released more hazardous substances than first reported, adding to the distrust and fear of nearby residents. Now, the thing is, if this train had a derailed in the ghetto, everybody would have said, shut up and deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody would have been like, stop being victims. Figure it out. And then the EPA wouldn't have tested the chemicals and kept saying that there wasn't any chemicals. Like we've seen this happen before. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says 11 days after a train derailed, spilling toxic chemicals, causing a massive fire. Officials told residents Tuesday to use bottled water until testing could confirm whether the local water supply was safe to drink. If you ask me, the fish test is enough to say that you probably shouldn't drink the water. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me the thumbs down. If I seen, you know what I'm saying, fish floating around dead, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Heightening the concern among some locals who are already weary of returning to their homes. As questions continue to swirl around the cause of the February 3rd accident and the officials' response to it, the disaster's still emerging list of effects became more clear. Water officials are tracking a large plume of contamination flowing down the Ohio River. About 3,500 fish in local waterways have been killed by the chemical release, and cleanup crews are excavating a grossly contaminated 1,000-foot area around the train tracks where butyl acrylate puddled and where vinyl chloride burned. For right now, I think bottled water is the right answer, Ohio Health Director Bruce Vanderhoff said at a news conference on Thursday. Along with wondering about their drinking water, many residents pondered their options as a strong odor of chemicals continued to hang over the town. Some locals said they are considering leaving East Palestine and are frustrated with how little they know about their potential exposure to toxic chemicals. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but this is kind of the same situation that went down when C-19 first hit. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of the same situation they had people in when C-19 first hit. Which, speaking of C-19, if you're not subscribed to Blacklight Revelation C-19 report, make sure that you subscribe because we got some content coming up soon. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things been going on with C-19. Bodiah Keppen, who is 21, showed up at a local assistance center Tuesday and says that he spent time online researching ethyl hexyl acrylate, one of the toxic chemicals that leaked out from the crash site. I've got my eye on moving somewhere else because I am young and it will take years to clean this up. And see, I said the same thing, but what they're saying is that it's okay for people to go back down there. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Christopher. You couldn't pay me to live down there. You know what I'm saying? Even a even a minute size of ethyl hexyl can stay in the soil for years. A mechanical issue probably caused the Norfolk Southern train to derail near the Ohio-Pennsylvania border. Federal investigators have said suddenly hitting the small town with a pollutant-laden fire, the threat of an explosion, and the release of at least 6 toxic chemicals. Officials now face the task of assessing how much contamination has seeped into the soil, ground, and water. Ohio state officials on Tuesday focused on reassuring residents that the air in East Palestine remains safe to breathe and that those who evacuated last week can live in their homes. Despite the extent of the cleanup ahead, officials indicated new contamination wasn't happening. So here's my question. How do we know that new contamination isn't happening? I think that what needs to be done is continuous testing. I don't think that anybody will know if new contamination is or isn't happening until we've continuously tested the air, the water, and the ground, and more than likely, probably continuously tested it for at least a decade. That may sound extreme, but I think that that's probably what's needed. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you're not subscribed, make sure that you hit the bell icon twice, and please share the video out to all of your subscribers. So now here it says the plume flowing down Ohio River is being diluted as it moves and is not expected to taint any drinking water. Okay, so now if the expectation is that it's not going to taint any drinking water, then why are you giving an advisory to drink bottled water? Of course it's tainting the drinking water. It's in the damn water. You know what I'm saying? Tiffany Kavlek, head of surface water for the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, said at the briefing. In addition, fish are not continuing to die, said Mary Mertz, director of the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, indicating that new contamination isn't flowing into the local waters. Okay, but you still need to know how long it's going to take to get that old contamination out. What you guys should do is look into the nuclear testing at Marshall Island and also look into the nuclear testing in Greenland. You guys know how long it took the United States to decontaminate Greenland and how long it took to decontaminate Marshall Island? It took a long time. That wasn't no easy job that just happened overnight. You know what I'm saying? On Tuesday morning, East Palestine was quiet except for the hum of industrial equipment. At the site of the accident, cleanup workers were using cranes and other heavy machinery, hauling sheets of metal by hand and moving wreckage into dumpsters, pausing their work whenever a train came through. Please pray for EP. Read a sign at the dairy mill and ice cream shop closed for the season. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine told reporters that Norfolk Southern had committed to paying for everything and said that the state would hold the rail company responsible. The impact on this community is huge, not just the physical problem that might be caused, but the inconvenience and the terror, DeWine said. I understand people's skepticism and I understand their anger, and if I lived in the community, I would be angry too. The train was not categorized as a high hazardous material train, Mike DeWine said, meaning the railroad company wasn't required to give the state any notification about its passage. Now, what do you think about that? Because clearly there were some kind of materials on there that were hazardous, because now that the chemicals have spilled and they've been burned and new chemicals have formed, it's a problem. JT says they're lying. The people of Columbus are getting sick by air and Dayton. So now here it says the governor called on Congress to re-examine regulations for trains carrying toxic substances, something some environmental advocates have pushed for a long time. Now, I want to tell you guys something. The reason why conservatives are so concerned about this is because this is a white city. Remember, when it came to all other climate issues, when it came to all other environment issues, conservatives were like, nope, we're not doing anything. Climate change isn't real. Pollution isn't real. We're going to burn up as much carbon unofficially or inefficiently as we can. And any kind of pollution issues and greenhouse effects, all of that stuff is fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. So according to them, biological science and anything dealing with chemicals is fake news. They ignored all of the issues in Flint and they ignored all of the issues in Mississippi. But now when it comes to a little white town in Ohio, now we got to deal with the environment. Move over Corey Bush, move over the squad, Bobert and TG to the rescue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people are fake. Yeah, I have some friends that are from Eastern Europe, and during the Clinton administration, they bombed Eastern Europe a lot, especially like Bosnia and Yugoslavia, those countries. And those countries, a lot of people are like, they have cancer as a result of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised that your Russian friend lost all of her hair from Chernobyl. You know what I'm saying? I'm not surprised by that at all. And a lot of that stuff is still contaminated. You know what I'm saying? That stuff lasts for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know the extent of how far it reached ever. You know what I'm saying? So now here says Norfolk Southern said Monday that it has paid out more than $1 million to displaced residents in reimbursements and cash advances for lodging and other expenses, and it's in the process of contacting and meeting with affected local businesses. The company also donated money to the Ohio Red Cross and the local fire department. Now, if this happened in a black area, all the insurance companies would have lied and said that the premiums hadn't been paid. The government would have came in and said that all of the land was they would have came in and said that all of the land was condemned. They'd have started doing eminent domain. I mean, like we've seen all this stuff before. We've seen all this stuff before. So shout out to my girlfriend. She just sent me something about a train in Detroit that just derailed. So trains are just derailing all over the place out here. I hope that didn't have any nuclear issues going on it. Let me see. Hold on. So I think that what's going to end up going on now is that what's going to end up going on now is that we're going to be just having mass shootings and train derailments. That's going to be the theme for 2023. You know what I'm saying? Hold on real quick. All right, my bad. These things just be doing what they want to sometimes. So this just came out at 11:53. All right, and real quick again, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, hit that like button. Train derails outside of Detroit, Michigan, with one car carrying hazardous materials. All right, so now it says Van Buren Township train derailment unfolds nearly 2 weeks after East Palestine, Ohio disaster. I bet you trains be going all off the rails all over the place, and because like the train tracks be out in the middle of nowhere, nobody knows about it, so they just cover it up. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think? Do y'all think that that's what be going on? If y'all think that's what be going on, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. Trains just going all over. Be careful if y'all got to cross some train tracks going somewhere, man. I remember I told people a long time ago, buy some NBC suits. Make sure y'all buy some NBC suits while they still cheap, because once they just contaminate everything, they're going to jack up the price of NBC suits. You know what I'm saying? A train containing one car of hazardous materials has derailed Thursday in Van Buren Township outside of Detroit, Michigan, reports say. The cause of the derailment was not immediately clear. The causes are never immediately clear. You know what I'm saying? Pete Buttigieg is an idiot. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I call him Pete Buttigieg. You know what I'm saying? Pistol Pete Buttigieg. You know what I'm saying? Police told Fox 2 Detroit that there were no injuries and the area is not a hazmat situation. So, okay, so it's not a, so that, I guess that's good, I guess, if that's true. But I don't understand how it's not a hazmat area if it was containing hazardous materials. Did that car miraculously not open up anywhere where it wasn't supposed to open up, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know. So now here it says officials spoke to WXYZ. That's interesting. That's the name of the news network, WXYZ. Now I know my ABCs, which reported that at least 6 cars were seen off the track and one of them was carrying hazardous materials. Okay. So that's all the information that they have on that as of right now. I think let me just see here. Now look at this. Now they got this. Now the Independent them came out with this article talking about how many train derailments have there been in 2023. Now, look, I'm telling you, man, they see that people are interested in this, and now it's just going to be a train derailment every week. You know what I'm saying? A mall got shot up, but in main news tonight, a train derailed. Like, seriously? This is stupid, man. And people be buying this. Look at this. Look. Hold on real quick. There it is right there. So this is from Click on Detroit, Local 4. Officials investigate derailed train in Van Buren Township. Haggerty Road, Huron River Drive are closed during the investigation. Okay. Pete Booty giggle. His booty be giggling. He'd be like, So now here it says officials are investigating after a train was derailed on Thursday morning in Van Buren Township. Now, why is this just now coming out tonight or today? You know what I'm saying? What day is it today? Oh, I guess it's Thursday morning, so I guess that's why it's just now coming out. I thought today was Friday. When you work night shift, man, you'll never know what day it is. Johnny Gibbs say the zombie outbreak is next. We already got a zombie as the president. The first reports of the derailment came before 8:45 a.m. on Thursday from the train tracks in the area of Huron River Drive between Martinsville and Haggerty Roads. Hey, that'd be crazy if those UFOs were shooting them trains off the track, because y'all know that them UFOs, they really only been getting sighted in like the northern hemisphere, like way up north, like in the Arctic area. So, you know, if it's close to Canada, Ohio and Michigan is fair game. You know what I'm saying? Those UFOs sitting up there playing duck hunt with the trains and shit. So now here it says aerial video showed several train cars off the tracks. The tracks were damaged and several sets of wheels became disconnected from cars. No injuries were reported, and there's no evidence that hazardous materials were spilled during the crash, officials said. Well, that's a good thing. Haggerty Road has been shut down south of I-94, and Huron River Drive is shut down west of Haggerty Road, according to authorities. The roads are closed in both directions. All right, so that's all we got. Let's see what they're talking about here.
Authority Supreme Herbicide works to
Now I know that it's expensive to run a business, but do they literally have to have a commercial like every 5 seconds? Let me see. So this is just one of those videos where it's just some pictures. They just zooming in on stuff. Boom, there it is right there, the trains. And now you know all these hazardous chemicals possibly on one of these trains, and here these people come walking up without no suit. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Yeah, I agree. My spiritual journey. They're supposed to let you know if there's hazardous materials on them. I agree, Christopher Perkins. And you know, I don't know if you guys pay attention to the Twitter files and stuff like that, but the media has been just trying to keep it out of the public eye how much of an idiot Biden is, how incompetent he is. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing more investigation, finding more classified documents. You know what I'm saying? Hunter Biden just keeps showing more, evidence of degeneracy and stupid stuff that he's involved with. You know what I'm saying? So I totally agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Cameron says anything but water is hazardous, isn't it? I think water can be hazardous. Water can drown you. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, everything is a hazardous material. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. Like everything is a hazardous material. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, I think that we have definitely covered the spread when it comes to what you need to know about the East Palestine train derailment. What do you guys think? You guys think that we got everything? If you guys think that we got everything, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that we got everything, give me a thumbs down. Make sure that you guys leave a comment, smash that like button, take a moment and subscribe to the backup channels. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. Remember, stick around at the end of the stream. It'll take you into the next scheduled stream. You could already hit the icon for the notification and smash the like button early. And I will catch you all on the next video. All right, peace.